Donald Trump is destroying the FIFA World Cup before it even begins. We're now learning that the Trump regime has banned a Somalian referee, someone who's known as the top referee in Africa, simply because this referee was from Somalia. Donald Trump and his regime continue to treat the teams that are traveling to the United States for the World Cup horribly. The Senegal team that arrived was treated awfully with security, basically giving them cavity searches. The Uzbekistan team was treated horribly. The Trump regime has basically banned major groups of foreign reporters. And when foreign reporters are allowed in, they're given a visa that basically doesn't let them travel to Canada or Mexico and then come back to the United States. And the games are in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. This is turning into a massive disaster. And it's in stark contrast to what we're seeing in Mexico, where they've got mariachi bands that are greeting teams that are arriving in Mexico, and they're getting a hero's welcome in Mexico while the Trump regime is treating them horribly. And now we've also learned that ICE and Border Patrol will be ramping up their efforts and attacks, I should really be calling them, outside of these stadiums for the World Cup. And the Customs and Border Patrol are going to be engaging in even more vile tactics when people are arriving from foreign countries. We're learning about fans who are unable to arrive here to the United States. There are multiple countries where the United States is outright just banning fans from showing up. And then where there are countries that are allowed to have their fans show up, they are being blocked significantly in the visa process. I mean, on average, a 40 to 50% denial rate of visas from a list of countries that have a lot of teams playing in this World Cup. Let's just go through the data piece by piece. And I mean, look, you have also New York City Mayor Mamdani and New York Governor Hochul, one of the host sites of the World Cup. You know, they're calling out the Trump regime for engaging in this migration harassment right now. It's like the worst fears are coming true, you know, but this is what we predicted. And a lot of people said, not for the World Cup. It would be different. Donald Trump knows the whole world is looking at what's happening here. Maybe he'll realize this is a sporting event and he won't try to destroy it. No, Donald Trump is going to try to destroy it. He is a destroyer. That's what he does. Let's go through the receipts right here. I think DropSite does a good summary. The World Cup is here, but not everyone is welcome. As the FIFA World Cup gets underway on U.S. soil, a pattern of visa denials and border incidents is casting a massive dark shadow on the tournament. For example, the Iraqi team, their striker Ayman Hussein was held for nearly 7 hours at Chicago's O'Hare Airport upon arrival for a pre-tournament friendly. The team's photographer was denied entry outright over what U.S. Customs and Border Protection described as, quote, vetting concerns, with no further details provided. Iraq is making its first World Cup appearance in 40 years, and that's how the U.S. is treating them. Morocco, at least 90 fans from two major supporters groups were denied U.S. visas ahead of the tournament, most under a clause citing doubts about their intention to return home, despite documented travel histories to Russia, 2018, Qatar, 2022, and the Paris Olympics. Some have lost tens of thousands of their currency in non-refundable bookings. We're seeing the same with Iraqi fans as well. Lots of Middle East fans are being denied after they've tried to go to this embassy and that embassy. And the issue is you have to buy these tickets, and then it's very possible and increasingly probable your visas will be denied. And if you think, well, let me try to work with Turkey, or let me try to work with this embassy, maybe there's a way in. Nope, not with the Trump regime. I mean, look, if a FIFA appointed award-winning referee isn't allowed in simply because he's from Somalia, that shows you the extent to which the Trump regime is interposing their very racist policies and their just despicable way they treat the Somalian community here for a sporting event. I mean, this is unfathomable, but I guess nothing is when it comes to the disgusting Trump regime. So the FIFA appointed referee Omar Artan was denied entry to the U.S. and immediately sent back upon arriving. I mean, he showed up in Miami. He got here with the help of the local embassies. He went to an embassy in Nairobi, which helped him, then stopped in Turkey, and then came here to Miami. And then he was like, nope, you're going back, sir. You're from Somalia. And here in the United States, Trump don't like Somalians, so you go back. Seriously, that's what went down because the guy's Somalian. Trump kicked him out. Artan is known as like the best referee in all of Africa. A world-class World Cup referee told to leave the country. And just take a look right here, as I noted before. This is how play the B-roll, guys. The Senegalese delegation gets this treatment upon the arrival to the U.S. Full tarmac searches, cavity searches, shoes off, bags inside. They're treated like criminals. The Uzbeki team right here, when they arrive, take a look right here. You have security searching all of their bags. They showed up and they thought, well, how are we thought, look, when you show up usually in the host country does things like if you're in Uzbekistan, something culturally celebratory, the team is greeted with usually, right? Or if the Senegalese team arrives, something that shows a warm U.S. welcome. And no, instead you get body searches, you get put in isolation and get cross-examined. Our government looks through your phones and your social media habits. These are World Cup teams and fans that are showing up here.
Shifting gears for a second, I want to check in with an important news update about the climate, because frankly, this is something that should concern all of us, and I haven't really seen this in a lot of places. Scientists are sounding the alarm over plans by the Trump administration to dismantle a major U.S. ocean monitoring system called the Ocean Observatories Initiative. This is something experts describe as the eyes and ears of our oceans. And this isn't like some obscure government program. This helps track ocean temperatures, monitor climate change, improve weather forecasts, and provide early warnings for hurricanes, tropical storms, El Nino events, you name it. Pretty important. Researchers say that removing these observations could severely degrade the accuracy of weather predictions and climate forecasting. One recent study found that losing U.S. ocean data would actually be worse than randomly losing 80% of all ocean observations worldwide. Experts warn that without this information, farmers may have less time to prepare for droughts or floods, emergency managers could face weaker storm forecasts, and communities may have less warning before dangerous weather strikes. As one climate scientist put it, without these observations, quote, we are flying blind. And here's what is especially striking. The annual cost of maintaining the system is a tiny fraction of what climate disasters already cost Americans every year. In 2024 alone, weather and climate disasters cost roughly $177 billion in damages across the United States. In comparison, the program that Trump is cutting costs $368 million. That's the update. Now I need to hear from you. Do you think dismantling climate and ocean monitoring systems makes America safer and better prepared, or does it leave us more vulnerable to extreme weather and climate disasters? Let me know what you think in the comments. And by the way, what do you think about these climate news updates in general? Your voice matters, so make it heard right now in the comments below. Okay, Ben, back to you.
So if you want to see the contrast, though, to what's going on in Mexico, take a look right here. You got South Korean fans enjoying the Mexican culture in Jalisco right there. We could play the B-roll right there. And I'm going to show you this video right here. So I just showed you what was going on in the United States, right? Take a look right here as Mexico is greeting the teams. This is how Mexico greets teams. This is how you should be greeted. This is what's supposed to go down. Here, let's play this clip right here. Here's how the BBC is reporting on all of this as well. A World Cup for them, not us. Fans anger at U.S. travel bans and visa restrictions. They tell the story at the outset of this article of the Iraq football fan Abdullah Adnan, who bought tickets to see his country matches. As noted, it's the first time they've been in the World Cup in like forever. To go to the match, to go to the stadium cheering, to root on our Iraqi national team is the most important thing. It's so incredible. He traveled to neighboring Jordan to try to get a visa. He traveled to Turkey to get the visa. And ultimately, he was told, sorry, you're not going to be able to go to the United States. Then look, then don't host the damn thing. If this is how you're going to treat the people who arrive, don't host the damn thing. Take a look at countries that have a U.S. visa rejection rate of over 40%. Senegal, Ghana, Congo, Iran, Jordan, Cape Verde, Uzbekistan, Algeria, Haiti, Egypt, and Ecuador. And that's in addition, I might add, to countries that have outright bans. So if you're from Haiti, Iran, Ivory Coast, Senegal, you're not allowed to even show up. Fully banned right there. Also, as it relates to the Iranian football team, the United States is refusing to allow the Iranian football team to actually stay in the United States. Despite the Iranian football team having 3 games in the United States, they're forced to stay in Mexico. And then they're allowed into the United States just for their game. Then they have to immediately leave. A lot of these right-wing neocon groups that are working with Rubio are saying that the Iranian football team, get this, is part of a weapon of mass distraction, nuclear threat against the United States, that they're being sent here as stealth nuclear weapons. That's what Marco Rubio is doing. Oh, by the way, Marco Rubio on Thursday is executing a State Department order with the UFC, with Dana White, declaring UFC a major tool of U.S. diplomacy. That's what they're doing. The grift could not be griftier. And this right as the UFC has to show up for a major court hearing on Thursday where DC groups want this White House UFC fight canceled for all of the likely ethical and legal violations, as well as is being argued by the plaintiffs in that case. So in addition to Iran not being able to stay overnight in the United States, Iranian managers and staff are not allowed to show up in the United States, and they are just being treated absolutely horribly. They're going to be staying in Tijuana. They're going to be staying in Mexico. We've heard from the Iranian embassy in Turkey says, look, you can't whitewash the conduct that violates FIFA regulations and breaches the United States host obligations. Why aren't you admitting that visas were denied to a large portion of the managerial and executive staff, the technical advisors, and others who are an integral part of the national team? Because the U.S. embassy in Turkey was like, look, we got the Iranian team visas. You see, look what we're doing to help sports. Like, look what we're doing. It's like, nah, that's not what you're doing. Anyway. This is what Mayor Mamdani posted. You don't need to drop thousands of dollars to watch the World Cup final, and you don't need to be a professional to play in the World Cup. You just need to head to Central Park. We're hosting a free World Cup final watch party on July 19th for 50,000 New Yorkers on the Great Lawn, and we're opening a mini FIFA arena next to the Tavern on the Green, complete with free clinics, tournaments, and open play. Wow. And then Mayor Mamdani said the following about the news, that the Trump regime has drawn up a plan to surge ICE into New York City during the World Cup. Soccer would not exist without immigrants, Mayor Mamdani said. Immigrants play and coach the game, work in the stadiums, fill the stands, and make celebrations like the World Cup possible. 6 of the players on the U.S. men's national team are immigrants. We will not allow ICE or anyone else to sow fear in our communities, especially at this moment. As the world comes to our city, we will stand proudly with our immigrant neighbors and reject these attacks for what they are, an attempt to divide us. And then for no reason at all, I'm just going to show you Donald Trump getting booed at Madison Square Garden last night. Let's play. There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million, and thanks so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.